Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Matthew. We're looking at a Michael Jordan 1992-1993 hologram MVP. It is from Upper Deck, just one of the coolest cards from the early 90s. Whenever you were getting inserts, big chase cards, this was it. There was no autographs, there was really no low numbers. It was a cool insert and a hologram. Hologram coding is just the bee's knees when you were a kid. Bee's knees is, try and find another adjective for the younger generations, but this was the top end. So, what's tough about this card is you can't really see much right now. So, we'll just dive as soon as we get into the review so we don't have this boring looking card at this angle. But the disclaimer we want to say real quick is the card's grades are not guaranteed to cross over at other grading companies. The grades are not guaranteed to increase or decrease the monetary value of the card. They are my best assessment of actually reviewing the card. It'll be sold as raw. We put a disclaimer in every video, every article, every eBay posting so that it is clear that this is a raw card with my best assessment. Let's just dive into it. It is a really nice card, actually. A bit older, 1993, so it's over 30 years now. But the surface on these cards, there's sometimes a lot of dimples, a lot of just little minor imperfections, and you can kind of see a little bit of wear on this. I have a 9.5. Let's see if I can quickly get to it. I have a 9.5 similar card of this. I don't know if I'll be able to quickly pull it out of the stack. Oh, great, I have it here. What's kind of interesting about this and why I am going to probably still have this card one day, because to get it where I really want this card is I have to reslab it, and the whole just process of reslabbing gives me a bit of hesitation. But whenever this card was being slabbed, a hair, whatever this is, a hair was, I guess, added to the slabbing process, and it still bugs me to the day. It's probably 5 years, but the surface on this card got a 9.5, and you can see some imperfections on even the surface of this, not including the giant hair that is clearly not on the card. But we can cross-reference the edges on this real quick. We can cross-reference a bit of the surface. So there is, and it's also there's this slab surface, and there's the card surface, and I don't even think that like that right there, what we're looking at, is the card surface. I think it's a slab surface. So if I'm trying to just get to the card surface, I'm trying to get different angles and see if we can get past the slab, get past I think they even put a penny sleeve. They pretty sure they do. So is this card surface just like total immaculate? They give it a 9.5. And honestly, that's where I'm probably determining the same condition for the card we're reviewing. But I do like having cards on hand of similar versions that you can go and say, okay, this is what. Another reason why I love Zion slabs is you can just buy a new Zion slab. It only costs like $3 to $5. So it is so amazing if you did have an issue with the slab, you could just buy a new one, drop the card in there. So also I want to quickly note the distance. We're going to take a look at the centering, and you can kind of see the centering from left to right, top to bottom is pretty symmetrical. So we're going to keep that in mind. Oh my goodness. I hope that dimple is okay. It is. It's on the slab, not the. Okay, good. Yeah, I was about to say, I hope that is not on the surface of this card. So, this card subgrades 9 for centering, which I would give it a 9 because that was really symmetrical. Now, the front, you can maybe say that area from the right, or from the logo to the left of the edge and the top, that does have a discrepancy. Does it drop it to a 9 even though that back was almost perfect? I don't know. I could maybe agree to disagree there. Corners, they're saying the corners are 9.5. They're saying the edges are 9.5. So yeah, that is a really sharp corner. So these are just Beckett's. So there, I could kind of, I think I am sometimes more stringent because that's a discrepancy, an imperfection. You could say, well, they gave it a 9.5, but And 1 out of 3 corners, I think I actually did something similar in a recent video for our Jordan card that is numbered at 230. So interesting enough, I do similar grading styles as that. Go and record these subgrades. We're doing an MJ hologram. We're going to take a look at the centering, surface, edges, corners, and come up with a total grade. So yeah, that was a Beckett. And their centering was the thing that was most off. I think we were just taking a look at the surface of the card. And yeah, there is imperfection. So right now I could lean towards a 9 on the surface of this card. See if anything. I did have a fingerprint that was pretty noticeable there. And I wish that I could pull that card out of the slab to be able to see the more defined surface on this. But I do think that the surface on this card is in between a 9 and an 8.5. There's parts of it where I am seeing some imperfections. Hitting the camera, didn't mean to do that. But you can kind of see it right there is probably one of my biggest drawbacks to the surface of the card. A bit right there. So those are 2 spots, and let me just see if I can see it with the naked eye. I sure can. So in between, I almost want to go to 8.5 on the surface of this card, and I think I will. 8.5 on the surface because that is seen by the naked eye. For the most part, the overall percentage, the overall surface of the card is in good condition. But when there are noticeable flaws like that, I do pause and say to myself, okay, is that detracting from a grade that would go to another professional grading company? And it would. So my edge, we're going to take a quick look at the edge. You can kind of see this bottom left edge has got some imperfections to it. And we just took a look at the edges to a 9.5. And I did not see anything detectable like that on the 9.5. So I'm probably going to go 9 on edges for this one. And the card will probably end up in between around a 9 overall, because the centering, you can kind of see similar centering on the back. But right now we're taking a look at the edges. And for the most part, the rest of the edges is very clean. So it's just that one area that dropped it a little bit to a 9, I think, is where I'm going to arrive on the edges for this one. Yeah. 9 on edges. We'll go ahead and do corners after this. So we have an 8.5 and we have a 9 right now. That corner, almost at certain angles, feels like there is... No, that's pretty sharp. That's about a 9.5 on that corner. 9.5 on that corner. So that's great. The corners on this card is really nice. So we're going to go with a 9.5 on the corners. We will do the centering next. And we just saw a 9 centering on the previous card. So we have corners 9.5. So this card's probably leaning towards a 9. We have an 8.5, a 9, which would cancel each other out. And then, so yeah, the distance between the top to the left was, there's a little bit more going on as far as the discrepancy between the distance to the top to the left here. So I could see why they gave the centering a 9. But the question is our centering a 9.5? I would also assume, let's take a closer look. That is a little bit closer than what we just saw. And the back is pretty the same. Let's go ahead and get a ruler out and kind of take a look at the centering. And what's kind of hard with this is there's like almost at certain angles that logo is easier to see. So usually I have it laid flat, but in this case I'll just pick it up and do my centering measurements. So is that 3? 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do to the. This is not easy as we have to hit a certain angle. So between 2.5 and 3, so far less discrepancy on our surface when it comes to centering. Becca gave it a 9. I could see ours being a little bit closer there. So that is a 3 there, and on this side, a little bit shy of 3. Right on. So a minor discrepancy, but I also could see a 9.5 for our centering compared to the card that we saw by Becca. 3 there. And 3 there. So yeah, our centering is better. So 9.5 is where we can arrive on centering for ours. So now the question is, we have 2 9.5s, a 9 and an 8.5. Is the card a 9, or I don't know if we could really go up to a 9.5. Let's see here. So an 8.5 and a 9.5, they average out to a 9. And then we have the quarters, we gave it a 9.5. So it'd be 1 9 and then another 9 and then a 9.5 if we're averaging it out. So 2 9s outweigh 1 9. It's close to a 9.5. Does the card with that surface, should it really have kind of like, is this have 3 9.5s? So that's how they do it. You know what? That's the most fair and accurate way of doing it. We'll give it a 9, but very close to a 9.5. So that is a 9 on that one. Thank you for watching. Continue to watch. We appreciate you. Have a great day.